Shalom, this is part 2 of the class titled The Body of Moses. The first video cut off prematurely, but I'm back to pick up where I left off in the book of St. Luke chapter 9, verse 31, who appeared in glory and spake of his decease, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. On that mountaintop, Moses, Elijah the prophet, and Jesus Christ were talking about Jesus Christ's crucifixion, which was set to take place in Jerusalem. Verse 32, but Peter and they that were with him were heavy with sleep, and when they were awake, they saw his glory and the two men that stood with him. So when Peter and the other two apostles woke up, they saw the two men that stood with Christ, who were Moses and Elijah the prophet, and then they saw the physical appearance of Jesus Christ, how it changed. They saw Jesus Christ in his glorified angelic state. Verse 33, and it came to pass, as they departed from him, as Moses and Elijah the prophet went back to heaven, Peter said unto Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elias, referring to Elijah the prophet, not knowing what he said. The reason why it says Peter not knowing what he said, by suggesting that they should make tabernacles for Moses, Elijah the prophet, and Jesus Christ. They were ultimately putting Moses and Elijah the prophet on the same level as Jesus Christ, which is a no-no. As great as Moses and Elijah the prophet were, they were not on the same level as Christ, nor did they ever claim to be. So Peter, he didn't mean any harm by this, but he still had to be corrected. But he was so caught up in the moment that he just wanted to build some type of memorial on this mountain, that every time they go there, they would be like, this is where Jesus Christ was transfigured, where he changed physically before our very eyes. This is where Moses and Elijah the prophet appeared unto us, but by suggesting that he was putting them on the same level as Christ. So that was a no-no. Verse 34, while he thus spake, there came a cloud and overshadowed them. And while Peter was talking, there came a cloud that overshadowed them, and they feared as they entered into the cloud. And there came a voice out of the cloud saying, This is my beloved Son, hear him. The voice that was coming from that cloud was God the Father. They weren't able to see God the Father, but they were able to hear God the Father. Okay, what Peter said had to be corrected, so God the Father had to show up on board and let you know that Jesus Christ, who I sent to you, this is who you need to follow. This is my beloved Son. Don't put anybody on the same level as him. Verse 36, and when the voice was past, Jesus was found alone, and they kept it close, which means they kept it to themselves. They didn't tell anybody what they witnessed, and told no man in those days any of those things which they had seen. So that was it on Luke chapter 9, verses 28 to 36. So that further proved that Moses was righteous and that he went to heaven. Okay, but Satan is always looking to accuse the righteous of being wicked. Let us go into the Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 to 2, to see another situation in which Satan is accusing a righteous person of being wicked. Zechariah chapter 3. I'm going to read verses 1 to 2. And showed me Joshua the high priest. Joshua the high priest was a righteous man, standing before the angel of the Lord, and standing at his right hand, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. Who also was in this presence? Satan. Satan trying to resist Joshua the high priest is Satan trying to discredit the character of Joshua the high priest. Constantly, Satan is always in God's ears trying to say, this person isn't righteous, this person's wicked, this person's no better than me. Satan is always trying to accuse us, discredit us, and he's always in God's ear doing that. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee. What did the Lord say to Satan? The Lord rebuke thee. The Lord saw how Satan was trying to assassinate Joshua the high priest's character, try to call Joshua the high priest wicked when Joshua the high priest was righteous. And the Lord himself said, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan. Even the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Didn't I choose this man Joshua the high priest for a special purpose? He's a righteous man unto me. How dare you try to discredit him and say that he's wicked? Satan is always trying to accuse us and assassinate our character. He's always in God's ear trying to accuse us of being wicked. Revelation chapter 12 verses 9 to 10 tells us that. Revelation chapter 12 verses 9 and 10 tells us how Satan is always in Jesus Christ's ear trying to discredit us, accuse the righteous of being wicked. Let's read Revelation chapter 12 verses 9 to 10. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, because that's what Satan does. He's here to deceive the world and get as many people to try to go to hell with him as possible. So he's not in hell yet. He's on earth, but he's destined for hell. He's raising all types of hell on earth until he actually goes to hell. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. This is when Jesus Christ's kingdom gets established. For the accuser of our brethren. Who's the accuser of our brethren? Satan. He's constantly accusing Israelites of being righteous. The accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Day and night. All throughout different times of the day, Satan is in God's ear accusing us of being righteous, saying, look, he is no better than me. She's no better than me. He's wicked just like me. And God, he's not buying that. Satan is always trying to accuse the righteous of being wicked. Okay? He did it with Job. Okay, you remember Job? It said that the sons of God went to present themselves to God, and Satan was in the midst of them. And the Lord already knew that Satan was on the earth looking at who he could devour, who he could deceive, who he could try to test. And the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? And then Satan, being the demon that he is, being the devil that he is, he said, because you have this hedge over Job, and because he has everything that he wants in life, that's why he serves you. He said, remove that hedge, and he will curse you to your face. Remember, Job was tested. The Lord allowed Satan to test Job. Satan was able to strip Job of everything that he loved. He just couldn't take Job's life. And you know what? Job passed the test. Despite all the hell that came Job's way, everything that he was stripped of, he never lost faith in God. And he remained faithful to God. And he never cursed God to his face. So that just disproved Satan's theory. So that marks the end of the class titled The Body of Moses. This was part 2 of that class. Shalom. Peace be unto you.